Let's welcome on stage the director Juliane Sauter and director of photography Sebastian Gancho, editor Tim Plaster, producer Hannah Buhr, and of course Laura Anselmi Miller, the daughter of Renata Scotto. Do you want to join us on stage? So first question, first things first. Juliane, the film, before studying at the Film Academy in Baden-Württemberg, you studied to be a music journalist at the Hochschule für Musik in Karlsruhe.
That's right.
Right. Did I do my research? How did you come up with the idea for that film, to focus on opera singers, on sopranos, and then what made you decide on choosing 3 protagonists from really different stages in their careers and lives?
Okay, I can answer that really long. I try to keep it short. So when I studied in Karlsruhe music journalism, we were mainly focused on doing radio and talking and writing about music. And then in my year, I was the first year to be given a camera. And we started filming, and we mainly filmed people who came there to do master classes. And I had the feeling that the people didn't really want to talk about what's going on behind the curtain, and they kind of wanted to keep this glamorous world of classical music in general still there in the public, and not really talking about the behind the curtain. So this was the motivation for this film, definitely to show a real glimpse behind the curtain. And I wanted to show 3 singers in different stages of their career, basically showing that they're all going through the same, or they did go through all the same. And it's kind of the circle. So Valerie wants to be on the top, like Angel and Renata was and were. Angel kind of wants to reach this legacy status that Renata has. And in my opinion, I don't know if you agree, Laura, but I think Renata always just wanted to be back on stage and be young again and having this moment on stage and being able to sing. So this was the motivation to focus on 3 singers in different stages and different ages. Yeah.
How did you find those 3 then? And what was the process of asking permission? It's as you said, nobody wants to be filmed. You know, you go on stage and you want it to be perfect. In your rehearsal, you're not perfect.
Yeah.
And in competition, you know, the stage fright aspects, the failure, the possible failure, that's really courageous to be shown like that.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm still stunned that they were all brave to let us show this in front of the camera. I did speak to lots of people, but honestly, they all agreed, and it was just good. The more difficult thing was getting in these opera houses, I have to tell you, because that was not easy. Okay. Especially the big houses. It was not easy. Hannah, the producer, was always there with us, and she kept the doors open and had our bags. But don't film this floor, don't film this singer, don't do this, don't do that. So there were lots of restrictions that we had. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe passing on to the rest of the crew, Sebastian, maybe the camera. Juliane mentioned that there were restrictions given by the opera houses, but were there restrictions? Did you feel restrictions by those 3 protagonists, or were they always open? What was your work like?
I think generally they were open to us technically, but I think the biggest challenge was that they are all media professionals. So they are used to have press there. They used to give interviews. They used to present themselves. And we wanted to not have that. And sometimes every time we pointed a camera at them, they started to present, because they're presenters by trade, I guess. And to get those moments where they forget that the camera is there. That was something that we needed to work on over time, and eventually we got there. But once every time they turn again and start making an interview out of a situation, we're just trying to look at them doing their thing. And that was, I think, the restriction that I had to fight most with.
How did you guys react in those situations? How did you overcome that impulse?
Just wait till they get bored again.
Yeah.
So persistence is key, I guess.
Yeah. I would just like to open the conversation to everybody, and
then Tim, of course,
right, exactly,
cut out all the bits that weren't as authentic.
Yeah. Tim, I
Yeah,
want to
that's-
ask you about one aspect. It's very interesting that you have there's like this rule usually when you in a documentary in any film that you have the original sound, the O-tone, and again in this film when they sing we don't hear them. We have the score music completely covering the original sound, and that's a very strong decision that you and Juliane made. And in other moments, of course, we hear them sing, but every now and again we concentrate on their expressions and their mute. And how did that idea develop in the editing process?
We kind of started off with the idea of not evaluating the singers individually. We didn't want to get into that competition of having the best singer, the medium singer, and the worst singer. And therefore, it was kind of obvious to not use the voices and just watch them sing and evaluate their passion, which they bring into their profession. And well, then we tried out, and it was kind of magic what happened to the pictures themselves, like how deep their emotions got, and like how deep you could watch into their experience and their kind of pain in a way sometimes, and that was magical to us. So we tried to keep it in the film and work with it dramaturgically, and I hope it worked out. Or it seems like it worked out because several people keep asking that, so I guess it works.
Laura, I wanted to ask you. Your mother talks about, says at a certain point, I feel like I'm always on stage. When you think of Renata Scotto, she's your mother, but she's also a singer. Can you distinguish between the two? Is there any distinction between the two in your...
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But I have to say something about this movie and why I really think it's genius, what you have created. I'll tell you, as I watched it, and I'll tell you from firsthand, you've truly captured the emotions of going through this career. From when you first start out and you see Valerie and you have fear and stress. The fear of, I have to make it. It's stressful trying to get there. Then you have Angel, who's got the stress, but the enthusiasm and the satisfaction. The stress of continuing and always being on top, and the satisfaction because she's already gotten there and she sees and hears the audience reaction to when she sings. And then my mother, now we're back to satisfaction from having the career, but fear comes back. And it's amazing, and my mother and I have had many discussions, the fear of exactly what she said, will they remember me? Will you remember me? Pick me up. Don't forget to pick me up. And even at in Le Villi, non scordarti di me. And I've been through this even as a child growing up with my mom. And okay, so children and parents communicate differently, and you communicate, and sometimes you get into spiff. So my mom is telling me what to do. But there's one thing that a child always feels with parents: emotions. Even when you're 2 years old, you know what your mom is going through. You feel the stress. You feel the fear. That is always a reality. And that's why this movie is amazing, because I know these 3 stages, I've lived through them. This is exactly what happens. And so kudos to you guys, seriously. It's really amazing.
Are there questions from the audience? There's a microphone back there. She can come to you. in her long career, Juliane told me that for a while, you were like her manager.
Yeah.
Even, you know, so you know her like really as a mother, but also like professionally.
Yes.
You work together. You have those two kinds of relationships. Do you want to say something about that? What it was like?
Amazing. I mean, you know, I decided to follow her, and thank God, because it was the most amazing experience learning what her life was truly like on stage when I had only known her, following her as a child and following her career as a spectator, you know, being brought to the opera, watching, on a Saturday night. That was all we did. And then when you grow up, you still go see your mother on stage, but now I'm with her. And it got to be kind of funny, you know. She was like, okay, set up my rehearsal, but, you know, get my slippers. And it was like kind of, oh, okay, you want me to now get your slippers? So, but it was the most amazing experience, just learning about both sides and really appreciating, because I felt a lot of, I would tell her coworkers, her colleagues, her friends, I feel awful because I yell at my mother because I'm mad at her, but look at how hard she's working, you know. And it was like, it's like a constant struggle within yourself, you know. And it was nice to have been through both of that, both emotions that way.
Any questions? Back there? Can you? Sie können es auch auf Deutsch sagen, ich kann es übersetzen, wie es für Sie am angenehmsten ist.
I had the feeling in the movie that your mother had an incredible ego because she was used to being famous, being on stage, being admired all her life, even in old age. And I was wondering, how did it make you feel? Were you ever the center of any attention, or was there ever a point where you thought, well, she's really getting on my nerves because now I want to be like somebody should watch me and listen to what I'm saying. I don't want to hear her talk all the time.
No, but it's interesting, prima donna or nothing. I mean, you do live. I mean, we would walk. There was a time in her career where you couldn't go anywhere. I remember being with her in Paris when I was younger. Everywhere we went, we were stopped. We were stopped. Can you sign this? Sign my hat. Sign my shirt. Sign anything. And it was all day, every day. But I think this is just what we were used to. I never felt like a shadow. Sure, sometimes you wanted to get going and we'd have to stop. But it didn't bother me. It was just, I don't know, this is what we were used to. And this is prima donna or nothing. That's exactly what this is about. You want to get to that.
But still at home, it was completely different, right? She was like the mom and she was not the opera singer at home.
Of course. Yeah.
So the center of attention at home were the kids.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So being outside with her was more with the diva. And
the diva outside and the mom at home.
Yeah.
Cooking. You know, I learned a lot of recipes from her. Lots of talks, lots of singing, lots of music in the house. Music that I miss. Yeah.
Your father was also a musician,
yes,
so
he was a very good musician, violinist.
Yeah, he knew the business. He knew the importance of music.
Yeah,
you know, and the focus you need to get to that.
Yeah,
give it. Any more questions? Da vorne.
I wanted to ask. Do you know what Valerie's doing now? How's her career going? What she's up to after that competition?
Yes, she did some competitions after that, and she won. She recorded her first album, and she won the Opus Classic for it. And now she's at the Ensemble at a Festanstellung soloist at the Semperoper in Dresden. Yeah. And you guys, she was here also on Saturday when we had our premiere. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Aber
ja.
kurz, Tim, ne?
Wir wollten nicht mit in diese Bewertungsnummer einsteigen. Es gibt die gute Sängerin, die mittlere und die schlechte Sängerin. Und deswegen haben wir uns gedacht, na dann nehmen wir doch mal die Stimme weg und gucken uns die Frauen so an, wie sie sind. Und das hat eine ziemliche Tiefe dem Bild auch gegeben dadurch und mehr von dem Kampf und dem Schmerz offengelegt, wenn man nicht mehr in der Bewertung der Musik und der Stimmen war.
Ja, ich habe das Gefühl, es ist auch, um nicht von der Musik geblendet zu werden und sich auf quasi die körperliche Arbeit, die da auch dahinter steckt, mal konzentrieren zu können.
Hier vorne, da müsstest du wahrscheinlich außenrum oder man gibt das Mikro durch in dieser Reihe.
Ja. Yeah, it took a while. We started in November 2019, where I first met Angel at the Staatsoper in Hamburg. Then we filmed an opera competition with Valerie at Glyndebourne in the UK, and then COVID happened, of course, so everything was shut down, and we tried to shoot again, and then Sebastian here was a contact person and we had to drive back again, and then the opera houses were closed, so we were kind of shut down for like a year maybe, so this slowed the process down. And then we shot, I think the last shooting day was in February 2024 at the Celebration of Life of Your Mom, the first scene where they name this place after Renata. So yeah, it was quite a while, but we just shot when they had their productions and wanted to see or had to kind of organize ourselves within their schedule. And then Tim and we locked ourselves into the editing room and we sat there for a year, but we didn't edit every day. We were still students back then, so we had classes and other things to do, but we edited it over the course of 1 year, I would say. So from 2019 till now, so yeah, 6 years, 5 years. But I think we could have done it in less time. Thank you. It was also my first film, so you learn and you make mistakes, and then yeah, let's go on.
It was your thesis film for the Film Academy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and we're all working together on a new film about a completely different genre. It's Schlager, about the Schlagersänger Dieter Thomas Kuhn. So you can look forward to that. And I'm also working on another film with Laura together about the life of her mom. So we're doing a dedicated film to her life, to what it means to spend your whole life for art and what it means, basically. So yeah, this is what's coming next. Hopefully it will not take 5 years.
Yeah. Was there another question? Ja, ja, mit Mikro am besten.
Haben Sie denn selber eine Affinität zum Singen, da Sie gerade Sänger ausgewählt haben? Das interessiert mich mal.
Soll ich auf Deutsch antworten oder? Ja, also ich habe Geige gespielt. Also ich habe im Kinderchor gesungen und solche Sachen. Ich habe jetzt nie solistisch gesungen. Das ist, glaube ich, auch besser so. Und ich wollte eben einen Film machen, der das zeigt, was es bedeutet, auf der Bühne zu stehen. Und da war für mich der Gesang einfach das unmittelbarste Instrument, weil man nichts hat, wo man sich versteckt. Man steht so pur auf dieser Bühne und das ist so persönlich und deswegen habe ich mich für den Gesang entschieden. Ja, aber nicht, weil ich das selber mal werden wollte, auf gar keinen Fall.
Dann hier drüben, einen kleinen Moment, vielleicht doch, dass es mir...
Ja, soll ich weiterhin auf Deutsch oder wie? Okay, so Angel is, when we started filming with her in 2019, she was still trying, she was still not there where she's now. Angel Blue is like the star at the Metropolitan Opera right now. She lives in New York, she does basically every performance there, and at the same time she travels all over the world. You can see her or you could have seen her in there's these live at the Metropolitan productions that are screened in theaters. She was there in an Aida production. She's going to be at Arena di Verona this summer. She's going to Paris, to London, I mean, basically everywhere. She's crazy, but she's mainly one of the lead singers at the Metropolitan Opera right now. Yeah. And after our film, thank you. After our film, she took a break. So she was really going through stuff while we were filming, and she did a break for 3 months, which was very rare for her because she never did that for 15 years. But I had the impression that after these 3 months of break, she keeps going and going and going. That's just what she does. Mm.
Da hinten. Mikro kommt gelaufen.
Yeah, thanks for that beautiful film. I was wondering, so you made the choice to follow 3 female singers, and I wanted to hear whether from your experience following them, but also seeing the general opera environment, whether you think that women are under a different kind of pressure than male singers, or whether that's comparable, or what are the differences that they are facing when building their career?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's differences. Of course, the men have it. It's also pretty hard to get in that business. But I think with women, there's always this this topic of how they look, and this is something that we discussed with Valerie a lot, because she always gets like feedback for her looks before something says about her singing. I think you can't compare it. So that's why I decided to focus on 3 female singers, because I do think that they still have it a bit more hard. Do you say it like that? I don't know.
I can tell you, my mom used to tell me that the vocal cords for a woman, you can't sing as long in your life as a male vocal cord who sings a lot longer. That's what she used to tell me. A woman's vocal cords aren't as sharp later in life, but a man can sing for much longer.
It's also the roles that you play. They all try to sing those. The soprano roles in opera are mostly beautiful young women, and they don't. Was heißt denn besetzen? They don't cast. Ah ja, danke. They don't cast a 50-year-old woman or a 60-year-old woman for that. So you know that time is running. So you kind of have to sing the roles at an early age, but maybe your voice is not ready for it yet. So I think it's difficult. And the men, I mean, not all men, but they do sing like these men on stage, like these evil persons or these kings or these soldiers. I don't know, and they're mostly older. So I guess it's especially in the beginning harder because you have to fulfill this kind of role of this beautiful woman on stage. Yeah. There is a question directly next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was wondering concerning Valerie again, whether you joined her for multiple competitions or whether it was just lucky that she would go on into like the semi-final and then into the last 3 finalists, because that seemed so perfect for a movie, but I didn't know whether you had to go on like different trips until it finally happened or whether that was a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, we started in 2020 with her filming the Glyndebourne competition, and she didn't advance in the first round. So that was, I mean, it didn't make it in the cut, and it was not enough for the film. And then we filmed a whole production that she was doing in Düsseldorf at the Oper, where she was in the ensemble, where she did like the cover for Rosina in Il Barbiere di Sevilla. And we filmed like from the first talk with the director to the premiere. And then it was just luck that she advanced so far in this production. But since we were a student production, we didn't have like lots of money. So our producers, not Hannah, they said every time that she advances, you can stay and film. But if she drops out, we have to go too. So in the first round, she was so disappointed, and she said, "Okay, I was not doing the best that I could in this round," and she was disappointed. And she said in the evening, "Okay, I'm going home, guys." So we were all sitting there, and we arrived like 2 days ago in Canada with all the equipment, and it was horrible. And then we sat there and we were like, "Oh my God, we have to fly back tomorrow." And then she advanced, and then it was, of course, also cool for us because we could stay longer. And yeah, she got third. And I mean, it's good that she got third, right? But it was a disappointment for her because she didn't get first. Do you want to say something?
Also, there were several competitions that we wanted to shoot and either weren't allowed to or weren't available. She won the one competition in Munich that we wanted to film, which would have been great, but I wasn't available, so we couldn't shoot it. So it was also very lucky that this exact competition turned out like that, and that was the one where we went.
And that they let us film. Also, you're right. That's a big thing. Sometimes we're just not allowed to film. Yeah. Okay.
We also had to be like always hiding because the competition always didn't want us to focus on her because they thought the juries are gonna favor her if they know that there's a film team following her. So also in Canada, we always had to be very distant. So none of the jury members realized that we were making a film about this exact singer.
Almost investigative journalism.
Yeah.
I was wondering, and in your film shows that very, very well, the competition aspect. You know, it's almost like a sport or this economical race or career race. And I was wondering, how do they manage to not lose the joy and the enjoyment of the music, of the art? I mean, there's art and there's the competition.
Yeah, Valerie described that every time she's going to a competition or she's doing a production, it's like building a new home at a place, even if it's just for like 2 or 3 weeks. So she kind of completely dives into this new world, and she meets new friends. Like the competitors, she didn't know them before. So you meet new friends, and this kind of becomes like your short new life. Mm-hmm. And so everything is fine during that competition, but once it's over, you fall into ein Loch. Ich weiß es auch nicht.
Also remember, you're always challenging yourself. Mm-hmm. So my mom was always the competitions, even when you're on stage, every production, every new theater around the world, it's a challenge. It's a challenge within yourself. Mm-hmm. You're still doing your art. You are connected with your singing, your art, and you are challenging yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's a whole different aspect of what you do for this art. So yes, it's a competition. Yes, there's pressure, but you're still singing and you're challenging yourself. That's where the connection is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's the mic.
How difficult was it to win Angel Blue to participate in the movie, and how did you manage to do that?
It was easy, honestly. I wrote an email to her agent, and they said, "Oh, she's in Hamburg next month." So I organized the team, and we drove there, and I met her for the first interview. I was so nervous. And I was waiting, and she came inside, and she's like 2 meters tall, and she has like this huge presence in the room, and I knew immediately, okay, I want to do this with her. And then we did this interview, and it was like a 2-hour interview, and it was so personal, and I think we just connected. And then I didn't ask her, do you want to be part of this film? I just said, okay, so when can we see each other next? And then, okay, can we do this and can we do that? And I never asked her honestly. Yeah. But she knows about the film, right? No, but she never. There was never a moment where I asked her. It was just, okay, what's happening next?
Did you ever ask her why she wanted to be in the film or talk to you? Did you ask her and Valerie their reasons?
I know the reasons for Valerie, or at least that's what I think. But it's obvious. I think for Angel, this job is you're alone most of the time. So I had the feeling not only with Valerie but also with Angel that they enjoyed also having someone there that is not only asking constant questions like, oh, what it's like to be in the shadow of Maria Callas. Oh, but why is Maria Callas so great? Like being compared all the time and why is this opera so great? Why are you grateful singing at this house? But talking to them about what they care about. So I think that's what was interesting to Angel, that we were that there was someone there and she could just talk to us, whatever feeling and whatever thought she had. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Also, it seemed she's at a very reflective point in her career where she's evaluating her life, her private life, her career, her art, and it was she won the Grammy in 21.
That's right.
So it was before that huge success.
She won the Grammy in 2021, and she won another Grammy, I think, in 2023. I'm not. She has several Grammys now.
Yeah. There's another question. I don't know where the mic is. Oh,
Oh, jetzt geht's nach vorne hier.
Magst du es mal aufsammeln und nach hinten geben?
Hier war aber, also...
Entschuldigung, da ist eine Frage.
Ja.
Ah ja, sorry.
Durften Sie auch mitentscheiden, was in den Film kommt, oder gab es da kein Mitspracherecht, wenn es so persönlich
wurde? Ob ich mitentscheiden durfte?
Nee, die Protagonistin.
Ach so. Nö. Also es war natürlich mit allen abgesprochen, dass die diesen Film sehen. Also we showed Valerie the film, we went to New York, we showed Laura the film, we showed Angel the film. But there was never a point where we could. Each protagonist could say, I don't feel comfortable with this and that, but it was not like that Angel said, oh, I don't like this. Actually, there's her stepson is in it, the little boy, and we talked about her stepson, and she first said, I don't want him in this film at all. So we didn't film him, but of course sometimes he was in the shot. Yeah, can I? Okay. And so we thought, maybe she has something more to say about the film and wants to have changes. And so Tim and I decided that we're just gonna put the few shots with the stepson in the film so she could have a say and say, oh, I don't like this. But actually she liked it. And she said, okay, you can keep it in. That was the trick.
There was another question? Nee, vielleicht ist die Batterie leer, ich weiß nicht.
Ja, aber ich kann auch
nochmal. Jetzt geht's, glaube ich.
Ja? Okay, also meine Frage geht zur Zukunft des Films. Was wird aus Ihrem Film? Wo wird er gezeigt? Und wie sind die Erfolgsaussichten?
Oh Gott, Erfolgsaussichten. Also erstmal freuen wir uns natürlich total, dass der Film hier gezeigt wird. Als Diplomfilm ist es nicht selbstverständlich, dass man auf so einer großen Bühne laufen darf. Wir haben inzwischen aber auch die Bestätigung von unserem Verleih in Deutschland, Camino, dass es eine kleine Kinotour geben wird. Ab Spätsommer erstmal mit 10 Kinos und dann schauen wir, wie es läuft. Und dann, wenn Sie jetzt alle Ihre Bekannten fragen würden, ins Kino zu gehen, dann kriegen wir vielleicht noch mehr. Aber das ist der nächste Plan und nächstes Jahr wird der Film dann ausgestrahlt im SWR.
Und auf dem Docfest kann man ihn noch mal sehen jetzt am Sonntag, weil er man konnte ja ganz viel das Publikum konnte mitbestimmen, wer die besten Docs sind vom Docfest. Und diese Filme werden nochmal gezeigt am Sonntag um 20 Uhr im Rio und auch online. I have one final question per Laura. When then the filming stopped for the film, your mom passed away the following year. That was 2 years ago. And now you watching this film and seeing her, what was it like for you?
Very difficult.
Was it difficult?
Yes.
You miss her?
Yes.
But thank you for sharing her with us through this film.
Yeah.
I want to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to all of you
Thank you.
for the next projects. And thank you for being here.
Danke. Vielen, vielen Dank.
Thank you.